Overpaying for anything sucks, especially socks, so why pay $45 for a single pair of grip socks when you can spend less than half? Pure Grip Socks Pro feature our best materials for optimal fit, moisture wicking, and performance at a fair price, just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
The Adidas Predator series is responsible for some of the best and one of the worst football boots I've ever worn. And while the direction of the line has changed quite a bit over the years, what they're doing right now, it's always hard to say this about a big brand, but I really do think the current Predator has gone underappreciated. With the Predator Accuracy.1 mid being the best, in my opinion, of their current top-end offerings. I have them here in the new Marine Rush Pack colorway, boots that are available for $250 at full retail. However, you can pick them up below their normal retail price by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes via the first link down below. As for why I think these have gone underappreciated is simply down to the fact that they're one of the most unique football boots on the market. And what I mean by that is there are so many different boots that you can buy where there are 2 to 3, maybe even 4 other options that are going to offer something very similar. And especially when you're buying top-end boots, there typically aren't that many bad options. However, when it comes to the offerings from a tech perspective of the Predator Accuracy.1, while I don't think technology will ever improve your performance, at least we haven't seen it yet, the features of those technologies can definitely change the feel and the interaction with the ball. And in the case of the more structured, kind of solid construction of this Predator Accuracy.1 in combination with the tons of extra grip that you get from these rubber elements highlighted here in orange, you basically have a recipe for something that feels like what I guess you would call an old school power boot at this point, but I don't think that it's necessarily an old school feel. It's just a type of football boot that once upon a time used to be the most popular in the industry. Power boots then went away. They're now back, and I don't think people have realized it. While the Hybrid Touch synthetic upper isn't necessarily the kangaroo leather that I think a lot of longtime Predator fans were hoping for, it still offers a leather-like sensation to a certain extent, and I think most importantly, it's not overly thin like so many modern football boots have become. Also, the rubber elements, they're positioned in such a way where you get tons of extra grip when making contact with the ball almost anywhere on your foot. The microtexturing on the lateral side I wouldn't say is overly noticeable, so it is more so focused to the striking area, but when it comes to shooting in particular, generating spin because of these rubber elements is just so easy. And it's not to say that these are necessarily going to make you curl the ball more or increase the power of your shot, but I think when it comes to generating spin so easily like you get with these, it does give you this sensation of control and accuracy, as the name would suggest, when it comes to shooting, something that you really won't find from any other football boot. The only thing that comes anywhere close when it comes to grip levels is going to be the Nike Phantom GX. However, those are significantly thinner, significantly more sock-like in terms of how they feel on your foot, and also a totally different shape. And when it comes to giving you that old school power boot feel, you're just not getting it from the GX, but you are getting it from the Predators. So while the upper and the rubber elements are the definite standouts here, I think the overall shaping of the football boot is a gigantic improvement over the Predator Edge that this boot replaces. In general, they're very comfortable and I think have more width and volume again than the average football boot, which a lot of longtime power boot fans probably thought wasn't available anymore, but you can now get it here in the Predator Accuracy. The lacing system, where you can get a laceless variation of this football boot, I do think makes for a better overall fit and generally a more comfortable feel inside the football boots with that additional lockdown. Although if you like laceless boots, I do think the Accuracy Plus is a really solid option. And then of course, with the .1, you have the option of a mid or a low. They're both the exact same price. However, I do find that the mid-cut model does offer a better, slightly deeper fit in the heel, which I personally find to be a little bit more comfortable. And not to go off topic, but this area of the boot is really interesting to me in that this colorway features 3 different shades of blue, which I think actually looks quite cool. And also the orange elements against the royal blue background of the upper really reminds me of the launch colorway of the Predator LZ. And then as a base, again, you're going to get something that has a nice solid feel, not overly responsive. I would say it definitely has more of a flexible sensation formation in terms of bending very naturally with your foot. And the stud pattern layout is the same as what you're going to find across the Adidas brand for basically the last decade or so, but still very aggressive and in general providing plenty of bite when pushing off and planting for a strike. As for the tungsten weight at the tip of the toe, it's something that was introduced on Predator Edge as a power element. They're not really talking about it much in the tech features anymore, but long story short, I made a video about it. It weighs almost nothing and has basically zero effect on power. And then there's the weight, which is an area where I think some people might have a little bit of a gripe with the current Predator in that they're not as light as most of the other top-end options. In a size 9.5 US, you can see that the boots weigh in at 8.9 ounces, the equivalent of 252 grams, which I wouldn't say is heavy, but they're certainly not the speed boot light construction that you're gonna find from most top-end models nowadays. With that said, again, the weight of this football boot kind of plays in to the fact that it's just very unique in terms of feel. They're not heavy, but they feel solid on feet, which again is that power boot style that you can really only get from the Accuracy. On feet, the Preds just stand out. They are totally different from a feel perspective when compared to just about anything. And that's not just down to the material of the upper as well as the sole plate underfoot. It's also down to the fact that they just have a shaping that is wider and with more volume than anything else, but without sacrificing the quality of the fit. These don't feel sloppy in any way, and in general, they just have this nice solid feel on your feet once you tie the laces tight. If ever there was a football boot that offered some level of meaningful support, I'm not saying that you're less likely to roll your ankle in something like this, but these legitimately feel more structured than anything else without feeling restrictive in any way. When it comes to hitting a ball, nothing feels as powerful as these Predators do. As far as the overall width of the boot is concerned, like I said, they have plenty of width to the point where I think these are going to be suitable for just about anybody. And don't be afraid if you do have slightly narrower feet. They are super adjustable because of that lacing system. Maybe a narrow-footed player would want to stay away from the laceless variation, but in general, they're going to work well for most foot types with the laces tied tight. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you are looking to get a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, what I love about the Predator Accuracy.1 is how it interacts with the ball. And while performance is something that is very much tied to your own personal abilities, the boots are not going to be able to play for you. The way that your boots interact with the ball and give you a certain type of feel is ultimately what separates one boot from the next. And if you really like the feel of your boots, I think that can positively impact performance. And when it comes to the feel of the Predator Accuracy.1, because of the upper, because of the rubber grips, because of the shaping, the comfort, and the overall solid feel that's just so rare to find in the modern football boot industry, the Accuracy.1, especially if you're a fan of power boots, or at least used to be, is a definite standout in today's current football boot market.